one? Kobe Bryant once said this. Kobe Bryant once said, people don't realize just how obsessed I am with winning. And that's a true case. See, when it comes to greatness, when it comes to achieving the best that you can achieve in this lifetime, you have to have that deep gumption to be obsessed with achieving more, to be obsessed with giving more. One of my favorites is Mr. Greatest of all time himself, Muhammad Ali. One of my favorite Muhammad Ali stories takes back to 1974, when he was planning to fight one of the biggest fights of his career against a brute of a guy named George Foreman. Now, many people thought that Ali didn't have a chance, but he went about training with confidence and obsession, knowing that he would win. Now, what I liked about Muhammad Ali was during that training season, he would still bring in people in his camp. And a lot of times he would like to bring in kids. And these kids would sit around and watch him train for the fights. Well, on one particular day in 1974, there was one kid off to the side. This kid, even though it was 90 degrees outside, had a wolf skull cap on. Muhammad Ali, curious, went over and asked about the boy. And he found out the little boy had cancer and didn't have long to live. Muhammad Ali, being the greatest of all time, being the great person that he was, he told that little boy, don't worry. He said, I'm going to beat George Foreman. And told that little boy, you're going to beat cancer. Well, 2 weeks later, while Muhammad Ali was training, he got a call that that same little boy was in the hospital, and he wasn't doing too well. Again, being the great person that he was, he stopped what he was doing. He drove 2 hours to visit that little boy in the hospital. And when he got to the room, he saw he had all of these machines and tubes hooked up to his body. The champ pulled himself together. He went to that little boy's bedside, and he reminded him of the promise that he had made just 2 weeks earlier. He said, remember, I told you, I'm going to beat George Foreman, and you're going to beat cancer. That same little boy looked up at the champ with tears in his eyes. And he told the champ, the greatest of all time, he said, no. He said, I'm going to go to heaven. And I'm going to meet God. And I'm going to tell God that I knew you. How great is that? That he would go to the greatest of all time and tell him about the greatest of our time. That's the kind of greatness I'm talking about today. The kind of greatness that each one of us has in us. And I'm going to give you my steps to that successful achievement. And the way I came about this formula, I took the acronym. I'm a Marine, so I took the acronym GOAT, who many have come to know as the greatest of all time. And my formula is simple. The first G is goals. You got to have goals. Now, all of us have goals. All of us have set a goal at one point or another. Anybody not have goals? That's what I thought. See, even the wino has goals to get drunk by the end of the day. Even the crackhead got a goal to get high by the end of the day. Everybody has a goal. See, when it comes to exceptional achievement, you have to stretch beyond what you think you can do and reach for greatness. See, everybody has heard of SMART. So you got to be specific. The goal has to be measurable. The goal has to be achievable. What is achievable? Many people stop there because many people have told you that you can't accomplish something. Many years ago, before I joined the Marine Corps, all my friends that knew me back then as the class clown said, man, there's no way you can do it. And I almost believed them. But here I stand before you today, a United States Marine. Achievable. Don't let someone tell you what's achievable. Realistic. What's realistic? Real is whatever you accept it to be. If you accept failure to be real, that's what it'll be. And time bound. I want to talk about something different today. Because sometimes you have to take that adjustment in your thinking, adjustment in the way you see things. See, when it comes to goals, we all know about goals, but I want you to think about this when it comes to goals. And I learned this from a gentleman by the name of Bill Bartman. Bill Bartman said a goal is no more than a contract with yourself. So when you tell yourself, I'm going to accomplish something, and you begin to believe it, see, if you can achieve it, if a mind can achieve something, if they can give birth to an idea and believe that idea, you can achieve anything you put your mind to. You can have, be, or do anything you put your mind to. And a goal is no more than a contract with yourself, a promise to yourself. So think about something to accomplish. Think about something exceptional you want to accomplish in this lifetime. Begin to formulate your picture. And that's when I move to my next one. O is an outcome. Outcome is no more than a vision. And my favorite book tells us, without a vision, my people will perish. You got to have a vision. Start with where you were. Socrates says, the unexamined life is not worth living. Find out who you are. Examine your life, find out who you are. Paint the picture of who you used to be. Make that picture accurate. Who did you used to be? See, I used to be a class clown. I used to be Mr. Think he knew it all. I used to be Mr. No Goals, Mr. No Aspiration. That's an accurate picture of who I used to be. Then you got to begin to paint the picture of who you want to be. Who do you want to be? If you got a piece of paper right in front of you, write this down. Who do you really, about 8 reallys, who do you really want to become? Who do you really want to become? A gentleman by the name of John Assaraf said, if you kind of want to do it, you'll do what's convenient. But if you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. So when you start to see that picture and you make that promise to yourself, you sign that contract to say, this is who I'm going to be. Make a commitment to being who you want to be. And then take those steps to become that person. The next one is A, accountability. Got to have accountability. There's 24 hours in every day. 24 hours in every day. And what you do with those 24 hours will predict who you'll be in this lifetime. See, if you're like me, you like to sleep in on the weekend, I get those extra 8 hours. And that's on top of the original 8. So that's 16 hours gone. I only have 8 hours left to be successful. Sometime during the day, I gotta eat. I gotta take a shower. I gotta watch some TV, right? But that's time gone to be successful. Don't waste your time procrastinating. Decide who you're gonna be today and make progress toward being who you wanna become in this lifetime. The last one is T. I think one of the most important, the thought process. See, we learned in school many years ago that two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. Meaning you can't be negative and positive. Brother Felipe talked on that earlier today. You got to choose which one you're going to be. Are you going to be positive? Are you going to be your chief happiness officer? Or are you going to be negative, to always find fault in something, to always say something can't be done? So usually when people start saying things can't be done, they're pushed out of the way by people doing the same thing that they said can't be done. We have about 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Most of them are random thoughts. See, when it comes to greatness, you have to be on purpose. You have to be definite in what you want to do. You have to be definite in what you want to accomplish. And you got to start taking steps one at a time. Anybody remember the little engine that could? Many people thought he couldn't. But he thought he could, and he thought he could, and he thought he could, and he thought he could. You see where I'm going with this? Thoughts make things happen. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right. Which one will you choose? You can have, be, or do anything you put your mind to. A young lady by the name of Marianne Williamson once said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. She said our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. She said we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Who are you not to be? Who are you not to be? You can have, be, or do anything you put your mind to in this lifetime. Everything is created 2 times, once in our thoughts, the second time in reality. Our thoughts guide us. Our thoughts grow us. Our thoughts groom us into who we are and who we will become. As a man thinketh, so shall he be. So I challenge everyone to consider what you've come through. The fact that you're still standing, you're still here, being great. But how great can you truly be? And I'll leave you with this. My mind begins unraveling as I start traveling through time. I shall not fear, for my destiny lies greater than that which is here. Through tunnels of darkness grows light, but it's suppressed by no movement. Motion becomes only a thought as I am brought for just a second back to reality. But realness has no meaning, meaning still I am lost, yet found, bound by the shackles and chains that enslave my brain, leaving me motionless and still standing. Demanding more from life than life demands of me, releasing my inhibitions, allowing my soul to be free. See, free is an idea, and it's been made a promise. And we all know what happens to promises. They're made to be broken, and so they break like glass. But like glass, I see through them. No, past them, for past them has no limitations. Past them lies that freedom that remains to be seen, that piece of the American dream, that small piece that calls for peace so I can be at peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I pray that peace be with you. Thank you.
We have heard a lot about transforming our thoughts today. How about another round of applause for George Casey Jr.?